let's get right into this review for Shelter. Alright, so Shelter is directed by Ric Roman Waugh. His most recent release as a director was Greenland 2 Migration, which actually came out about 4 weeks ago, and I have to say that wasn't the best of cinematic experiences amongst his film work lineups for me personally. I will say though, I'm still a big fan of the types of action popcorn flicks Ric creates, so the promising previews for Shelter made me pretty excited to check this one out at the theaters. My primary hope for this cinematic package was just seeing if the story would consistently remain in the B-tier level. So now that I've seen the film, what did I think about the cinematic package here? This was a pretty solid time, albeit with some of the typical action popcorn flick flaws. To start with the positives, Jason Statham is going to do some Jason Statham things, and I think fans of his character portrayals are in for a treat again. This is no different from his other characters like the Beekeeper or a Working Man, but hey, I'm all for it. His looks are sharp, his skills are steady, and he handles these roles within these action popcorn flicks well. Another positive this time around for Shelter though was the character dynamic between Mason and Jesse. I sort of dug the emotional depth they were trying to reach in various dialogue segments. This won't be for everyone, but it worked for me. I thought the tempo of the drama and action remained fine throughout the acts. Definitely not as high octane compared to other popcorn flicks like John Wick, but also not super slow either. I also dug the set locations paired with the film. They sort of go all over the place with the visual environments, and that helped to immerse me into the whole government and secret agents lore we're working with in the story. Now as for the negatives, my biggest gripe for sure has to do with Act 3. There's a certain point where the protagonist completes his first half of the mission successfully after all that build up to it during the third act. And I thought there'd finally be more time now for pure action sequences, but instead we only get like 3 more minutes of runtime before the end credits roll. And it truly felt like we zoomed to the end in a negative manner. This felt odd to me, and I thought the film could have actually benefited from having a longer runtime with more action sequences covered towards the end to make that build up cohesive. Another negative was how mediocre some of the general action sequences played out. The bad guys are fairly generic and dumb here and sort of go in that one-by-one equation to face the protagonist, and there were never too many moments where the action felt dynamic or evolving as it does in John Wick. But this was a minor gripe as there's still some cool and creative scenarios sprinkled throughout. With all that being said though, my final score for Shelter ends up being 8 out of 10. This was a solid film. The previews do a great job in giving you exactly what you can expect, and I think if you are interested in the film, you definitely can't go wrong here. At bare minimum, it'll be a mediocre experience. Anyways, thanks for checking this movie review out. I'll have more coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I shall see you on my next upload. Until then, stay safe out there, and peace.